What's your name and badge number? What's your name and badge number? I asked you a question. Hey guys, what's up? I've talked to you for a second about this Blue Lives Matter law in Louisiana. Before I get to that though, you guys ever notice that if your subscriber count goes up or down? Mine was going up. Now it's dropped like 11 people in 3 days. It always makes you wonder, like, which video did people get pissed about? Which video offended people? What did I do that offended people? 11 people have left in the last 2 days. I don't know, man. I don't really get concerned with that. I don't get concerned with it because it'd drive you crazy if you try to figure it out. But that's why I make videos like the one I did with the just to kind of explain, because I thought maybe that's the video that pissed people off. So I just wanted to explain what happened there. So that's why sometimes if you're wondering why is he explaining or why do I explain stuff, that's one of the reasons is if people start unsubscribing real quick, I go, okay, they must have questions about something and something I just did, so it must be that video there, and I explain. So, but I don't let it get to me because it'll drive you nuts trying to figure out why people are unsubscribing it's like an exodus, man. It's like they're out of here. But I don't care. I just keep moving forward, and this train goes forward, and hopefully other people will find this YouTube channel and go, hey, you know what, this guy makes sense, and subscribe. But I want to talk about Blue Lives Matter law in Louisiana. A lot of cop watchers are getting really shaken up over this. They're like, oh my God, we can't film the police no more. Of course we can. Of course we can. You guys have to read the wording in that. And I'm going to put a link to Blue Lives Matter law in the description box below. I tried to do the CNN one, but for some reason it won't let me copy the link. But I did do the Washington Post or Washington Herald. I forget. It's in the description box. So if you click that, you can go read about Blue Lives Matter law in Louisiana. Now, if other states follow suit, that's fine. You have to look at what they're saying. Targeting law enforcement, not filming them. You still have a First Amendment right to film the police in the capacity of their duties. As journalists, yes, you still have that First Amendment right. In California, it states in the California Constitution, no law shall be made that shall prohibit the liberty of speech and press. So you got to remember, it's hate crime. Like, you can go out and film all kinds of black people and I'm using black people for because, you know, they're minorities, the minority ethnicity. You know, hate crime, usually when you say hate crime, it's attributed to someone of color or a minority or someone who's like gay or something to that effect. So let's take blacks, for instance. You're doing I got an itch on my leg. You're doing a journalistic editorial or documentary on blacks in America and racism or whatever, and you go out and you film a whole bunch of black people, African Americans, you know, take your terminology, and you're filming them for this documentary or for this editorial. That's not a hate crime. You're doing that. You're filming just these specific group of people, this ethnicity, because you're doing a documentary on blacks in America, okay, or racism in America or something to that effect. If you're doing something on gay marriage in California and you go out and you film just gay people, just homosexuals, there's nothing, I mean, it's not a hate crime. You're targeting them for your story, but it's not a hate crime. And that's the Blue Lives Matter thing you have to look at. What they're talking about is you're filming all the police and you're saying, look at this pig, you're a pig, just because, you know. You're screaming at the police, you're interrupting their job, you're going out and filming the police and then doing videos about how effed up the police are, and this guy's a jackass, and look at this stupid jackass cop. He's out here taking these people's money. You're a fucking pirate. You're a tyrant, motherfucker, you know. Stuff like that. That is what they're considering a Blue Lives Matter hate crime. To just simply record the police is not a hate crime. We're not targeting the police. We are simply doing editorials or video blogs, videos, or quality assurance on public officials within our communities. Okay, does that make sense? So it's not a hate crime to just go out and record the police. Cop watching is not a hate crime. They're talking about when they say targeting the police, we're going out there and we're making slurs against them. We're, yelling at them, slurs, or, like when we deal with African Americans of this country, use the N-word or anything like that. When you talk about gays, use the Q word, not fear, but then it could be construed as a hate crime or hate speech, as they call it. Is hate speech covered under the First Amendment? That's the argument that's been going back and forth in courts for a long time. But just to simply go out and record the police, nothing's changed, guys, unless you're out there yelling at them and calling them pigs and tyrants. And I'm not talking about when they approach you. If a cop approaches your camera and engages you, and he engages you in a negative manner, and you reciprocate that or you respond to that, that's not necessarily could be a hate crime, although it may be, I don't know. Just maybe we need to change a little of the way we do business. But as far as cop watching and recording the police, that has not changed. You can still do it. You just have to remember to maybe do it in a little more positive light. Maybe we have to change a little bit the way we do business. And let them be the bad guy and you be the better man or the better woman. And therefore, let them set themselves up and say, it's not a hate crime. I'm doing an editorial. I'm doing a documentary on law enforcement in America. Law enforcement in my community, where my tax dollars go in terms of law enforcement or safety patrol or something to that effect, because that's not far off of what we're doing. So it's actually kind of the truth. Well, it is the truth. But so don't get everybody's getting all wrapped up in, oh, what the fuck? Oh my God, Blue Lives Matter law. Blue Lives Matter law. Now, I don't agree that an occupation should fall into a hate crime. That's kind of dumb. So next, what? School teachers? Students can't cuss out their school teacher. Now it's a hate crime for all school teachers. It's coming, right? It's coming. So I don't agree with it. But don't get all wrapped up around it and think, oh my God, it's over, we're done. No, we're not. Just keep cop watching. We just might have to change a little bit the way we do business. That's all. I've grown. I've made some mistakes. I got growing pains. I'm still doing better. I'm still trying to get better. Still trying to do the right thing. I'm learning, though, by all these negative interactions I've had in the last 3 or 4 weeks. I'm learning how to kind of, it's kind of like verbal judo. I'm bringing them into my circle, and when they start having negative statements towards me, they're yelling negative stuff at me. Himmet News is pointing their camera and yelling at me. I'm still filming the story and letting them be the bad guy, and I'm being the better man. See, that's kind of what we're going to have to do, is when these people interact with us or engage us in a negative light, let them trip themselves up and fall and be the worst person. You be the better person and go, look at this, guys. I'm just standing here recording, and this guy, what the fuck? This guy's cussing me out. I'm just standing here with a camera. I didn't even say anything to him. I'm just standing here. So it's not a hate crime to film the police. It's not a hate crime to cop watch. If you do it in a positive light, and remember to try to keep it professional, keep it on the up and up, and we might just have to change a little way we do business. That's all. Hopefully this helps you guys understand a little bit. Let's not get wrapped up on this thing. Let's not like, oh my God, we start pulling out our hair and pulling out our teeth and going, oh, it's over. No, just don't be screaming shit at them. Let them scream. Let them get upset. Let them be the bad person and say, hate crime? How's it a hate crime? I was just recording. I'm doing a documentary on law enforcement. I'm doing a video on law enforcement. That's not a hate crime. You got to look between the lines, guys. You got to read the wording. Thank you, News Now Yucaipa, keeping you guys up to date with what's going on in your nation across everything. And always remember, I have an open mind. Before you unsubscribe, ask me. Hey, man, what did you mean by that video? Hey, you got upset in that video. Why were you upset? What was going on? Ask me, guys. I'll discuss it. Thank you very much.